the BRANE Show, coming in hot every week. We bring the truth when we speak. Red, white, and blue, the bulls stand tall. We the people, united won't fall. We the people as our beat and rhyme. We're dropping old school values every time. Extreme honesty with a fresh twist. Breaking it down, you don't wanna miss. It's freedom talk, loud and proud. Voice of the people, can't be cowed. Every week, we speak our mind. For love of country, it's one of a kind. So grab a seat, let the BRANE Show roll. We're serving up truth, heart and soul. Brian and Shane with that patriot steel. For the people, by the people, of the people, let's go. It's the BRANE Show, coming in hot every week. We bring the truth when we speak. Red, white, and blue, the bulls stand tall. We the people, united won't fall. It's the BRANE Show, coming in hot every week. We bring the truth when we speak. Red, white, and blue, the bulls stand tall. We the people, united won't fall. It's the BRANE Show, coming in hot every week. We bring the truth when we speak. Red, white, and blue, the bulls stand tall. We the people, united won't fall. It's the BRANE Show, coming in hot every week. We bring the truth when we speak. Red, white, and blue, the bulls stand tall. We the people, united won't fall. It's the BRANE Show, coming in hot every week. We bring the truth when we speak. Red, white, and blue, the bulls stand tall. We the people, united won't fall. It's the BRANE Show, coming in hot every week. We bring the truth when we speak. Red, white, and blue, the bulls stand tall. We the people, united won't fall.
This is for America!
Shut the f*** up!
Yep. All right.
You know the problem with Hollywood is? They make shit unbelievable, unremarkable shit.
To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair.
Will you fight? No! We will run! And we will live!
Shame on you. This could be the greatest night of our lives. But you're gonna let it be the worst.
And I guarantee a week won't go by in your life you won't regret walking out, letting them get the best of you.
Well, I'm not going home.
Day may come when the courage of men fails, but it is not this day.
The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther.
I'm not saying it's gonna be easy.
You're gonna work harder than you ever worked before.
I really do believe that together we can accomplish anything.
Because we'll never stop learning and we'll never stop growing.
Failure is not an option.
That's how winning is done.
Believe me when I say
we can break this army here. It has made us brothers. I say to you, what every warrior has known since the beginning of time.
You've got to get mad.
I mean plumb mad dog mean.
If you would be free men, then you must
Fight to fulfill that promise. Let us
cut out their living guts
1 inch at a time.
And they will know what we can do!
Let no man forget how menacing we are. We are lions.
This is your time.
seize the day.
Never surrender. Victory or death.
So come on then! Take it!
This is where we hold them. This is where we fight.
All right, let's fly! My name is the Lord. When I tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our Independence Day.
You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world.
We don't sleep to dream, we sleep to build stamina. Energy to do our thing, get your camera up. This show is about to begin, so sit down and buckle it in. Let's go!
Woo! Come on now, come on now.
Well, hello there, brother.
Hey there, bro. How are you doing this fine Thursday?
I feel like my brain is so big today.
Your brain is huge.
It's so big today.
It's huge. Some people say it's huge. I don't say that, but some people do say it's huge. You have a huge brain. I think it's a good thing. Hey, listen, welcome to our last show.
What?
on Thursday afternoons.
Nobody told me that. I was like, what?
This is our last their Thursday show. Our schedule is going to be changing. And next week we'll be back on Saturdays at 12:30 after the Salty Nerd Show. And so mark your calendars. Get your alarms ready. Let her show up. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be a beautiful thing. Shane, how you doing today, bro?
I'm doing good. I feel pretty good. I wanted to ask you. So first off, did you get any sleep Tuesday night? Because I know I was up late, but you must have been up really late.
I got no sleep Tuesday night.
But how did you feel Wednesday morning?
Fan freaking tastic.
Yeah. So that's been kind of it's been a couple of days of feeling good. And not to be lost on us is the fact that there are a lot of people out there who are sad, who are waking up to realize that they've been in a cult this entire time and they're going to have to deal with that realization. Right. So it's been tough.
Those poor bastards, they're in a cult.
And it's interesting to see the kind of the meltdown. You expected it. You remember when Trump won in 2016.
Yeah.
But you got to realize these people, the narrative that's been brought to them from the news media is that the guy who just won the presidency is Hitler. I mean, if you believe that, it's hard to not blame them for the way they're acting.
Sure. Yeah, right? I get
it. So I say, let's give them a little bit of grace and welcome them back into the fold of reasonable people, hopefully at some time.
Yeah. Speaking of which, who Cenk Uygur is?
I do. Yeah. He, I actually gave him a lot of credit. He was on the PBD podcast. He came on after Trump was announced the winner, and got to give it to him. He showed up when he didn't have to.
Yeah. And you know what he said on, and we got a lot to talk about, but just while we're on this topic, I actually retweeted the guy for the first time, I think ever. But he said something. He said, I'll show you. He said, Trump and MAGA, congratulations. I hate it, and I think it's a huge mistake, but you won fair and square.
Right.
Trump tried to steal the last election, but he won this one. And that's also democracy. If the American people want him back, that's the final word, and I believe in democracy. Good for him.
And we need more of that. And there was actually, he's not the only one. Tim Cook from Apple, Jeff Bezos from Amazon. A lot of people came out with.
Jeff Bezos is bending that knee right now. He's like, hey, Daddy Trump, let's talk about tariffs. Let's talk about that special amount, the money we're basically handing over to the Chinese so they can send cheap crap here. Can we keep that going?
Yeah. Well, I got bad news for him. So.
Yeah. Mr. Bezos. It's not going to happen, bro.
But a lot of people were pretty gracious, and a lot of people reacted even as you would expect, complaining, pointing fingers, blaming that, now fairly, a lot of people weren't saying it was rigged. And we're going to talk about a story here in a little bit that talks about how 2020, it may have come even to more light.
Mm-hmm.
How 2020 was a very strange occurrence. And there are several reasons we can talk about that, but it's definitely the coping is happening. They've not gotten to acceptance yet, but, and we're also going to talk a little bit about the fear of, what can they still do to Trump before he becomes president? So there's a lot to talk about.
I mean, there's a lot of videos of people saying, let's kill the guy. It's
crazy.
It's pretty nuts. So what are we talking about today? Yes, everything Shane talking about, but we're also going to talk about the missing 20 million votes. Right?
Yeah.
Because that brings a lot of questions up. A lot of questions.
There were 20 million less votes. Well, maybe it was 16 to 20 million less votes this election cycle than the last. And we're going to show you a graph and some stuff.
Yeah, we're going to go over that. And some hilarious self-owns regarding that. Also, what's happening now? The inauguration. The inauguration. Oh my God, what's wrong with my voice? Right, just say the word for me. The
inauguration. Yep. You got
it. The Ukraine-Russian war. Don't forget Hamas. Versus Israel. The whole Gaza Strip thing. What's going on? Remember, President Trump said within 24 hours, I'm going to, in office, I'm going to end that war. He's not even in office yet, and you already had some people from that side asking to cease fire. So just the fact that Big Daddy Trump is back home is putting a lot of fear in a lot of people's, a lot of these evil people, a lot of these antagonists to our nation. They are now, oh no, now I got to deal with competent people that will literally just bomb me out of existence. So,
well, and Russia also said they're ready to talk about a deal.
Of course they are. Interesting.
Yeah.
Weren't ready to talk for all this time, and then he gets elected. Like, hey, we're just joshing. We're just, bro.
It's
all
like
good.
that episode from Tombstone,
right?
When Doc
Holliday flips
no, not that one. It's when Wyatt Earp goes into to get a game, like goes into the bar,
the saloon, right?
The saloon, and the guy's like, being a jackass and being a bully, right? And then he slaps him around. Outside, he's like groveling. That was great.
Right? Yeah, I love it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, just I was just joshing.
Yeah. So before we get into all of that, a name I haven't seen for a minute. Joe Cronin hits the airwaves and gives us our first super chat of the day. My dude, thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe.
Oh gosh.
Well, if it doesn't pop up, I'll read it here.
It's about to. There we go. There he is. Joe Cronin for $10 says, I voted right. First time in my life. Woo!
I voted right. Now, there's so many ways we could take that, Joe. Did you vote for the right for the first time in your life? Did you vote the right way? Did you vote correctly when you got there and you didn't have a hanging chad? There's so many ways we can take this, Joe. So,
yeah, another thing we're going to talk about, too, is I think the reason why Trump won, aside from policies and all those other various things that have been talked to death, I don't think that he is preaching to just the right. And that's there's more to say on that, so I'm going to save it for later on. But
right.
He is not just preaching to the right wing. And just look at the people around him. I mean, half the people there are Democrats and Libertarians. So,
well, it's obvious that the map of how voting is going to be in the future has changed with this election, and that's something we'll talk about. But definitely, the types of people voting Republican are different than they have been in the past, and it's not, and it's going to be this way moving forward. So, it's very interesting. The Republicans are now the vote of the working class. So it'll be it's going to be that way going forward. It used to be the Democrats, now it's the Republicans.
I want to know who had this as their season 2024 finale, because if you look at like Trump's story, talk about a finale, dude. Like it's been such what a story. Like now you think about it, the only way this could have ended up is with him winning. It literally follows the movie trilogy, right? It's like Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, 2020, Return of the Jedi. Here we are.
Well, no, it's true. Actually, if you pull up our Discord, Kenneth La Rocque put a meme in the political channel we now have on Discord.
Oh, really?
And it's that meme. He showed it to me. It's really great. If you can pop that up, that would be really cool. And while you're here, while Brian's doing that, if you guys can go ahead and real quick, give this video, give this live stream a like, please. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Yeah. 2016, A New Hope, 2020, The Empire Strikes Back, and 2024, Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. Pretty legit.
That's awesome.
I must have saw it there. That's awesome. And before we get into this stuff, Kenneth La Rocque, speaking of the BAMP himself, comes through with $20 working, just listening in. Thank you, Kenneth. We love you, buddy.
Thanks, Ken. You're always working, brother. We appreciate the support. That $20.
Yeah,
awesome.
We're gonna start also starting with Ken and a couple others. We're gonna start putting the actual like our largest benefactors, our top 10 benefactors will be in the description, and it'll be in the video itself.
Awesome.
Okay.
August TV 123, member for 6 months. I'm ready for Elon to take an axe to the federal budget. Honestly, I got to tell you, the reason I went into election night, and I just kept saying to myself, Trump's going to lose. Trump's going to lose.
Right.
Harris is going to win. Just prepare yourself for it. And the number one reason is I didn't think there was any way in hell they would ever let Elon get that close to the federal budget.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm just like, somebody's going to make it stop, because there's no way they're going to allow that to happen.
Bro,
So
he's calling his department Doge.
The Department of
Government Efficiency.
Government Efficiency.
He's literally memeing on, like, you know what's funny? Even though he's memeing, you know he's going to do a good job. Well,
I don't know how much he's going to do. And the guy's very busy. It'll probably be an oversight thing. I don't even know. But he spent all his time with the Trump family. Like, he's taking pictures with the Trump family. I mean, you want to talk about a guy being all in on somebody? He's all in.
Yeah. What did they say in that Elon Musk Rogan interview? He's like, they were talking about Trump being like public enemy number one, and Joe Rogan's like, well, that means you're public enemy number two. And he goes, yeah, that's right. I think I am.
Yeah.
He goes, and this is before he was elected. He goes, so if he doesn't win, you're sort of screwed. He goes, oh yeah, I'm effed. I'm effed.
He's the happiest guy in the world.
It's not going to be good for me. And he's saying it with a smile, but it's like, it's almost horrifying. Like, oh yeah, he's sort of screwed.
Well, we talked about it in recent weeks. They've been coming after him.
Mm-hmm.
So, the fact that this happened. So we do have a lot to talk about today, but I do want to be very clear that we're really happy that Trump won, because we feel like this is the path that America should be on. This is the reasonable, everything makes sense. You got to remember, Kamala Harris none of her, what do I say to a lot of people on Twitter that are upset right now that Harris didn't win? You were voting with emotion, and we were voting for facts.
Right.
That's it. We were voting for platform. You were voting on emotion. You didn't like a guy, so you didn't want to vote for him, but you didn't take a look at what he was going to do for you. You voted for a girl who was empty, had nothing to offer you.
She has nothing to offer.
Yeah. The last 4 years, which have been terrible.
Yeah, and she's never been actually elected to anything.
Right. So how many people woke up on Wednesday morning almost with feeling like something was lifted off their shoulders, like a weight had been lifted? Because for the last 4 years, it's just gotten increasingly worse and worse and worse financially in this country.
Yes.
So
someone was like, who cares about your groceries? That means that you care more about being able to afford groceries than someone's life. And I'm like, well, first off, that's super hyperbolic. But even if it were true, yeah, sort of.
Yeah. I mean,
but the fact of the matter is, it's not true. He's not going to round up trans people and put them in concentration camps. That's so stupid and silly. It's the most insane, ridiculous nonsense I've ever heard in my life.
Well, there are people who believe that now that they're going to be, this is some of the craziest stuff, that they're never going to be allowed to have an abortion again. I tried to tell Christina Applegate, who was besides herself, didn't know how to explain to her daughter that she wouldn't be able to have an abortion. I said, Christina, you live in California. You're probably going to be able to kill your baby all the way to 9 months. It's totally cool. But it's only going to get better here for you here.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
At 3 years old, you'll have the option.
Trump actually made it better for you to get an abortion in California, because when it went back to the states, now the states get to decide. And if you're a liberal state, you're going to have more liberal abortion laws. These people aren't living in reality.
Where did this come from? Where did the whole federal ban on abortion even come from?
Because
it's just not true, though. It's so unbelievably false.
Well, they've asked him many, many times, and he keeps saying, "I wouldn't support a federal ban. I would not pass. He would take and veto a federal ban on abortion." But the problem is that's not how you win. You got to scare everybody, and that's not what the Democrats wanted to do through the media. But let me be clear. Here's something I want to say about me and Brian. We're here. We're supporting Trump. We're supporting this administration. I feel like this was a win for the country. Trump won, and we'll show it later. Actually, 312 Electoral College votes, more than he had. He had 306 in 2016. But listen, if Trump isn't doing his job, we're going to be talking about that too.
Yeah, 100%.
This isn't about being one-sided and being only about Trump. This is about America for us.
Yeah, okay? I'm gonna make it clear.
Very clear.
I'm not a Republican.
No. If anything, we're independent centrists.
Yeah. I actually not right. Republican people, but I lean right. But I actually very much dislike most Republican politicians. I think they're slimy cowards. So I'm not a Republican. Very clear. I voted for Trump not because of the R next to his name. It's because of what he was able to do in his first presidency and the people he has surrounded himself with, and plainly speaking, what he was pushing, his policies.
Right. Now we know that. Now, but to be clear, that's what I was trying to say. What we support is transparency, right?
Mhm.
And we're going to be talking about these things on the show each week. We're going to be talking about a little bit of that. We're going to be talking about what's going on in the world. If you've noticed, we've got a title change on our show. We're the BRANE Show now.
Yep.
If you haven't figured out, that's Brian and Shane. You put them together, you got BRANE.
We got BRANE.
And hopefully our brains will transfer to your brains and you'll learn something and enjoy being here with us every week. So it's not going to be completely all about politics. We're going to be talking about whatever's happening in the world. If P. Diddy kills himself in prison, then we'll be talking about that. Whatever's going on in the world.
Kills himself. Yeah, frankly speaking, we're here to attempt to shine light on untruths.
Yes.
So we're probably not going to talk a whole lot about Trump if everything's going great.
Exactly. The hope is we don't have to talk about him much.
Yeah, the hope is there isn't much to talk about. All right. So let's just jump into that. That was very important to make it clear. I am definitely right leaning because of my religious background. But I'm not all the way on that camp. I believe in common sense. That's why when you see people like Cenk Uygur actually saying, "Hey, listen, guys, didn't work out for me, but congratulations," I'm totally willing to say, "Good job, bro. Thank you for that."
Well, we need to come back together.
100%.
We're very divided. It's going to continue to stay that way. And I was very encouraged with Trump's his speech when he won.
Notice he didn't mention Kamala's name. It was all about the future and what we're going to do together. It was a great speech.
I was shocked there was nothing divisive in it.
Nothing divisive. It was a great speech.
And he's learned something since his first term. And I think that considering how well all of his policies were for us in 2016, imagine now if he had great policies. He can't be reelected. He's not going to be blowing smoke up anybody's butt. He's got 4 years to turn and burn and do the best he can. And I got to tell you, I'm just looking forward to supporting that. And I hope the people who are upset now, a year from now, when you see that things are better than they were. Now, of course, they're going to say, well, that was because Biden was getting it rolling for Trump. They'll always say that.
They always say that.
But here's the thing. Just a year from now, if things are better at least just be quiet. Okay. If things are better, just at least be quiet. So,
yeah. Yeah, you're right. The biggest problem with the Democrat Party, and I do believe this is what happened, this historic event, is going to spell the end of the current version of the Democratic Party, is because they didn't lose. They didn't just lose because Trump was better, and he ran a better campaign. He did though, but they lost so hard because their entire campaign was based on identity politics. It was based on how bad Trump is and how bad right-wing people are, how bad conservatives are, and it was always just identity. He's gonna kill you. He's gonna deport you. He's gonna lock you up. He's gonna take away your rights. It's crazy.
Well, the difference is that's what both of their things were. So if you think about it, Trump also same way. They're letting in the illegals. They're letting in the rapists. They're letting in the drug addicts.
Actually, what was happening?
Hold on, let me tell you. Right, that's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
What he was saying was actually happening. What they were doing was lying.
Right. They were just lying.
Right.
He was like this. He's also kicking up your fear thing, but it's actually happening.
Right. So the difference is what we found out is, hey, this is great news. Most of Americans aren't stupid.
No.
Like they paid attention. They listened.
I gotta say, Elon Musk is an American hero for buying Twitter because I think this goes differently had he not.
100% true. And also, if you go back to Vivek Ramaswamy's when they were doing the debate with the other Republican people and Trump wasn't involved, remember, and he's on stage and he calls out the chairman of the RNC and he says, how about you just quit right now? Right. He's telling her, right, you should just quit right now. And you know who should be doing this? You know who should? Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, and I think he said somebody else. They're the ones that should be, because they have more reach and that's going to help the Republican Party. What ended up happening?
What happened? Yeah, exactly what he said.
So
it's crazy. Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up because I remember watching that and being like, he's right. And it didn't actually dawn on me until I was watching the Rogan interview. I'm like, oh my God, Vivek called this.
Yeah, he did. He said that's what we need to be doing, and that's not what we're doing. And if you notice, I mean, enough voices, things can change, and it eventually went that way, thanks in part, I think, to Barron Trump, who was telling his dad, you need to be on these
Barron
shows.
Trump, Batman himself.
Right.
Almost Batman was definitely part of that. So let me just get this out real quick because I realize that we're already talking about. I think a good reason why this was such an historic win and why Trump is best for the country right now is because of who he surrounds himself with. Every person that is in his discipleship, or whatever you want to call it, they're nothing like Trump. J.D. Vance is a Marine. He's a hillbilly. He literally wrote the book on being a hillbilly. Literally. That's his running mate. You have Elon Musk, who's a hippy-dippy, eco-friendly, crunchy guy trying to get to Mars.
Genius.
He's a genius, super genius. But he's a liberal. He's a progressive.
Well, he's always been a liberal.
Right.
Always been a Democrat.
Right. You have Robert Kennedy. What's his name?
Robert Kennedy Jr.
Right, Robert Kennedy Jr. Robert Kennedy Jr. is a literal Democrat and a hippie.
Well, he was running for the Democratic presidency, and they
literally
and they stomped him out and said, "Nope, sorry, you can't do it."
Tulsi Gabbard, who is a Democrat and a Marine. Vivek Ramaswamy, an extreme capitalist, but yes, Republican. But Joe Rogan, Democrat, pothead. Dana White, like a literal fighter. You have all these people who are so different than Trump and equally as different from each other.
Right.
And they're all but they all have the same goal. Protect the soil that they share.
That's right. For America. I mean, you couldn't write this as a superhero.
Yeah, it's literally like the Avengers Phase 3, right?
It's honestly like, Avengers, what is it called? Avengers
Endgame.
What is it? What's their calling? Avengers Unite.
Assemble, right? Yeah.
Assemble. Yeah, Avengers Assemble. And it happened slowly, and it happened because honestly, one side just kept going so bad. They just slid over into Trump's lap. So listen, the Democrats have no one to blame but themselves.
And that's what Trump's good at, though. You get Trump in a room with someone, he's going to charm the pants off that person, and he's going to find a way.
Quite literally sometimes, I'm sure. Yeah.
Quite literally, yeah. But he's going to find a way to find common ground with that person and become friendly and try to work on ways where their relationship can be a win-win.
That's exactly it.
That's what he's good at. It's a win-win.
And here's what's great about, I don't know if we're at the place to talk about it yet, but here's what's great about if we get a red wave, where it's going to be really close on the House. We got the presidency, we're going to have the Senate, right? But to get Congress, to get the House of Representatives, it's going to be close. If we get all three, let me tell you the difference between Trump and say another time when we've had all three. A lot of times when you have all three, people complain, look, you had all three and you didn't get anything accomplished. Mm-hmm. The reason why that usually happens is because of political concerns. Right. Oh my gosh, I can't do that because that person's going to get mad at me. Right. Oh my gosh, if I do that, I made that promise, I can't do that. Right. So a lot of things don't get done. Well, guess what? Trump don't give a shit.
He don't care.
Like he's literally going to do whatever he thinks is the right thing to do after considering what's best for our country, and hopefully he'll make good decisions. So expect a lot of change in the next 4 years.
And he's also learned a lot. So he did a lot in his first term. That was very, very good. In that process, though, he was also learning on how to deal with some of these rhinos and these sort of backstabbing, manipulating people. He is coming into this now as a veteran of the system. And I would argue that it's better that he wasn't elected in 2020.
I think so. I think you're right. 100%.
I think it's much better that he was elected in 2024, which is why, like, I don't want to put religious on it, but I almost feel like it's like a religious thing where, like, it was like we might have not have known this, but it was better that he get here in 2024 when two justices are getting ready to retire, right? We're past the COVID crap and we actually have a chance to clean up. This was honestly the best case scenario.
Yeah. I mean, it's honestly, the Democrats have stumbled every step of the way. I mean, you first off, you put Joe Biden up there, right? Who was not even a good VP, who's never been a really great, and he wins, and you're like, okay, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. And then he gets too old, and they decide they're going to get rid of him. And by the way, that was all a setup when he decided to do the debate against Trump early.
It was all set. It was set up to justify the coup,
right? So there's a whole lot of bad happening on that side.
I'm pretty sure Biden voted for Trump.
There's been a lot of people joking about
Come on,
it,
we wouldn't be surprised though, right?
Well, I mean, honestly, he couldn't have been president for 4 more years anyways. Like they would have lost hard either way. No way. I mean, some people would have still voted out of begrudgingly, but Trump probably would have won even easier if Biden was still president. But Harris wasn't better. What they should have done, the big mistake they made, they should have had a primary. They should have had a quick mini primary to find the best Democratic candidate. The reason why they didn't do that though was because they would have lost all the money that Biden raised.
Yep.
And they raised, up until I think it was over $500 million. They raised over $1 billion. For $1 billion. Okay. What a waste of money.
That's a lot of money to lose.
Right.
Yeah, you don't lose it. It doesn't go into the ether. Where does it go?
It goes into media pockets. It goes into markets. It goes to advertising and marketing. I mean, it does go back into America for sure. But these companies, and hopefully they pay their employees. So, yeah.
All right. So the first thing
do something fun.
Yeah, let's. What do you want to talk about first?
I don't care. You pick.
All right, let's talk about that. What do you call it? The county thing. Your headlines are distracting me. Let's talk about the missing 20 million votes, and maybe we can mix in the stuff with how she underperformed, failed to outperform Biden.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's just pull up our first graphic and we'll get going, or whatever we're going to do, video or graphic or.
Yeah, well, first off, it's a graphic. So every year, the average amount of votes is around 65 million.
Right, and then obviously, as our country's grown, it's kind of going up a little bit. But let's. One of the big arguments that the Democrats have today is what happened to the 16 or 20 million votes that didn't happen. Right. So, because in 2020, Joe Biden got a record 81 million votes.
Right. As seen by this chart.
81 million votes.
There's 2020 right there. There's the blue Democrats.
Yeah. So if you take a look at the 2020, and of course, all the way to the right is 2024, the election that just occurred. If you go back, you can see 2006, you can see 2020, you can see 2016
and 2012.
And 2012. Now, if you take a look, that number is right around 65 million votes.
Right.
Okay. So it's painfully obvious that 2020 was an outlier year. Why is that the case?
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Well, 2020, we had COVID, right, for that election. And so what happened was a lot of governments around, a lot of states decided they were going to allow mail-in ballots when wasn't part of their legal path to voting. And so a lot of people just said, boom, we're doing mail-in ballots, and it was just a mess. And so we ended up with about 16 to 20 million more votes than we did with really any other election.
Right.
Now, it's one of three things, Brian. One of three things caused this. Okay. It's either, well, I mean, it's very interesting. Okay. So it's either, hey, a whole bunch of people who never voted before, a bunch of lazy voters were sitting around in their underwear and said, I got this little thing laying here. I'm just going to send it on in. Okay. You got that?
Right.
Right. You got that Biden actually motivated more people he was even more mobilizing than Obama was in 2008. Okay. Biden was more interesting. He ran from his basement, but he mobilized the votes. Okay.
Right.
Or number three, they cheated. That's it. There's three
and
options.
Here's the craziest thing about this, because everything you're saying is right. That night, people started looking at the numbers. And I actually tweeted that too. I tweeted like 1 a.m. And then I started looking at Reddit the next morning. And people were like, where's the other 15 to 20 million votes? Something fishy's going on here. and I'm looking at Reddit. And by the way, I had this thread ready. It's deleted. I should have screenshot it.
Yeah.
But they're going back and forth. They're like, I don't know. Did people not turn out? Did people not care? And blah, 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 all that stuff. And finally, after like 50 people going back and forth, trying to like huff copium to try to figure out if maybe we're going to get the other 20 million votes, some guy's like, guys, I'm starting to think we might have cheated in 2020.
And if we're being honest, I mean, I think everybody cheated in 2020. If you look at these votes, I mean, even on the red votes seem a little bit, little high as well. So I think there was probably a lot of voting going on in 2020 that should not have happened.
So I think that this is what I do think. I do think there might have been more voting because of the COVID thing, because people had a lot of time on their hands to really digest news.
And vote from home made it a lot easier, obviously.
I do not believe, though, however, that there was that much extra. And then if you look at what was different about last year to this year, this is important. The RNC scrubbed the voter rolls. They went through all the swing states and they deleted voter rolls that were out of date. People died, address is wrong. They scrubbed a lot of these voter rolls, which makes it very hard. Let's say, theoretically, that the Democrats cheated in 2020 with a bunch of outdated voter rolls. It'd be impossible to do that again if all those expired, incorrect, wrong voter rolls were then removed from the system.
But they also did something else even more important, and you got to give it to the Republicans. They did something else that was really, really critical. They went around to all these states and made sure that they locked up the laws and said, you can't do, if you're not allowed to do mail-in voting, you're not allowed to do it. And they took it to the courts and they made sure that the states actually followed the rules they're supposed to follow for voting. There were more people paying attention. I mean, I don't think anybody expected that in 2020 people would try to pull that out. If you can, pull up that graphic of the bellwether counties.
Okay.
Real quick, because I just want to show why it's weird that Biden won in 2020. The whole thing's weird. The number of weird votes, the whole thing. Going back, if you go back to elections going all the way back to Reagan here in 84, there's this chart. It's a little hard to read, but these are the bellwether counties in several states that certain presidents win. And if you notice that for the president who won, you got Reagan in 84, you got Bush in 88, Clinton in 92. If you see, they've won most of these bellwether counties. And these are the counties where pretty much every time the president who becomes the president won in that county. If you go all the way over to 2020, Trump won in all of the counties except for one.
Right.
But Biden became the president.
Look at the numbers. There's clearly something extremely suspect about this.
Right. And then if you look in 2024, right, you see Trump won most of the counties and Harris had a couple.
Back to normal.
Outliers, which also shows that things have changed a little bit. But that's not normal. And so whatever happened, and listen, we don't need to go back and judge what happened in 2020. But if they're going to have this narrative that somehow there were 20 million less votes because the Republicans did something wrong, let's just be very clear. Whatever was wrong happened in 2020, not in 2024.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I'm going to say what I say to my kids when I see my laptop broken, outside on the porch. All right, guys, look, here's the deal. I don't want to know what happened. I'm not going to punish you, but I need to know who did this and why, so we can avoid it in the future. No punishments, nothing. We're good.
Better than I am.
The thing is, we do need to investigate this, and I'm not saying we put people in prison. Fine, let's call it good. Full immunity, but we need to know what happened, because we cannot. Our elections have to be secure. That is you want to talk about subverting democracy. This is a very important part of the process. Democracy is a fair and free election. And so we need to know, why is that 6%? Why was there 21 million votes? All these weird, why did they kick out poll watchers in all these swing states? Where did all these ballots come at 2 a.m? Why did you stop counting but then recount when the Republicans left? There are too many questions for there not to be a single answer. And until recently,
we know the
you
answer,
you weren't even allowed to ask.
Right. Well, the problem is when the answer is so obvious, there's almost no point in asking it. And here's the reality. And this is I want this to be very clear for anybody who lives in this country, maybe even doesn't live in this country. And I think we said this last week. This is the United States of America. When our Constitution was originally written, it was about states' rights. Okay. And we have slowly gone towards a more national type of unity government. The reality, though, is that states are supposed to have rights, and that includes voting and the way they do voting. Now, there are laws and there are rules they have to stick by, but we got to be very careful. And I don't want to see Trump come in here and try to do some national, this is how we're going to do it voting going forward, because, you know, just like he did with abortion, and it would go against his argument that, hey, you know, we got to leave that to the states to figure that out, as long as they're doing it legally. And
we're the United States.
Right.
We're
and
not the
so
United
the same
country.
thing has to be with voting. You know, the states need to do it right. And of course, the other states can hold states accountable when they don't do it right.
Right.
There's a process for this. And we've gotten away from the fact that we are, you know, a series of states. We're governed by states. And I think it's important that we just mention that, because a lot of people forget.
Yeah. And here's a really funny video that sort of talks about the counties and the performance, and we got to show it to you. And it's pretty much, it's a very good example of what was happening that night. I'm trying to be as gracious as possible. Here we go.
Are there any places that the vice president is overperforming Joe Biden in 2020? So we could show you that as well. We just bring that out here. Harris overperforming in 2020.
Holy smokes.
There you go. So let this go away and see if there's anything on the east side there.
Literally nothing?
Literally nothing.
Literally not one county?
By 3% or more.
Let's be honest, it was a terrible.
Literally nothing. So what that map was showing you was how well Biden did. Right. And then basically they said, did Harris beat Biden, or did Harris beat Biden in any of the counties that he won last time? And she didn't. So she didn't perform as well as Biden in any county across the entire country.
Across the entire country. Yeah, that's wild.
Crazy.
All right. Well, let us know. You guys let us know what you guys think. We do have a super chat from Sosa for $5. I actually know this guy is my boy. Sosa says, I love the show, boys. Shane, can you give me a birthday shout out to my cousin? Yeah, I'll let you do it, Shane. Go ahead.
Oh, let's see. Hey, Sosa, thanks for the $5, man. Really appreciate it. Just happy birthday to your huge anus. Thank you. Happy birthday, cousin, huge anus. And listen, go see a doctor. You might need some help, man. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Happy birthday, huge anus.
Keep coming with the names, guys. I love this stuff.
Yeah.
What happened to the guy with the other name?
Yeah. Shane likes doing the movie voice especially when it's something ridiculous.
When I told this story before, when I worked at the bowling alley when I was a teenager, they used to call in and ask for Jack Mehoff, right? Because we had a bunch of Filipinos like hung out in the bowling alley.
Yeah.
I fell for it a couple times.
Recently, I've been trying to sell my car, and the guy who came to look at it, his name was like Paul Cow, Asian guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, hey, Paul. He goes, hey, good to meet you, man. And we talk for about 20 minutes. And he goes, my real name is Fook. I'm like, oh. He goes, Fook that cow. I'm like,
no, that's like the guy who was on our show.
His real name was Fook that cow. And I started laughing. He goes, it's okay. That's the reason I changed it to Paul was for that reason.
Good reason to change your
Everyone
name.
laughs because he wanted to know what name to put on, like to put in his phone or whatever. Yeah, it was really funny. Really funny.
No, I'm putting Fook that cow. 100%.
You know, 100%. I put Fook that cow in there, and I put a picture of a cow.
Right.
I'm never gonna forget this guy. All right. So let's talk about this.
Planet X asks, "Are you drinking out of a flower vase?" You know what, Planet X? I got to tell you, I'm really impressed. You're the first person to ever notice this is actually a flower vase. It's not a cup.
What?
Yeah. I drink out of flower vases.
What?
Yeah. Because they're huge. They hold a lot of water, and I like them big. Good job, Planet X. Way to go.
Because I like them big. All right. No, we're not. I'm not done with the car thing. I'm literally in car hell right now. Just so you guys know, I'm in car hell. I'm trying to sell these 2 cards. We'll talk about it in the member section. It's a nightmare. I don't want to waste time here on it. In the member section, we will definitely. I'm gonna cathartically vent to you guys in the member section. Speaking of which, if you want to become a member, it's pretty simple. Hit that join button below, or you can wait a few minutes because sometimes someone just hands them out. All right, let's talk about why Harris lost. I know we've talked about it a little bit before, but let's actually get a little deeper. Why did Harris lose? Did she adopt the same strategy that Biden adopted in 2020? Was it because of her insane word salad? Beholden what is behold? Forgotten. To the forgotten past. But past shall be forgotten. Or is it because of her weird laugh? Maybe it's because she lied a lot. Maybe it's because it was obvious that 3 years ago she was Indian and now she's African American. Maybe it's because she would randomly change her accent on a whim and it was really obvious when she did. Let's talk about this. And while I am obviously way more salacious about this topic, I know Shane's going to come with a more even-keeled approach to this question. So
that was pretty much it. Yeah, good job.
So you just
no. Let me tell you why she lost. She lost because they decided to do the same playbook that Biden did in 2020.
Right.
They said, look, we hid Biden and he won. We can do the same thing with Harris. We'll hide her. She's not a great candidate. She doesn't. I mean, look, guys, she was first off the podium back when she actually tried to run for president.
Right.
She's just not a great candidate. And they were stuck with her because of the money. And they thought, well, we can hide her. The big problem was what they didn't realize is that in 2020, there was a lot of people who were tired of Trump. And the reason why they were tired of Trump was because COVID came along and our country just got jacked. So you could run somebody in the basement and probably have a chance to beat Trump. It still would have been close, but you had a better chance. And they just thought they could do the same thing with Harris. And when they drug her out, I mean, think about it. When Biden ran for president in 2020, he didn't have impromptu media sessions. They were pre-selected questions. We've been talking about this for years. He only answered questions from pre-approved sources. He didn't ever put himself out there, but he was a politician who's been doing this for a long time and he could speak off the cuff a little bit. Kamala Harris couldn't speak off the cuff at all. And it became incredibly obvious. And the more and more they tried to hide it, the more and more it became obvious. And listen, the voters aren't stupid. And, when Trump decides he's going to sit down for 3-hour interviews and JD Vance is going to sit down for 3-hour interviews and just have regular conversations, at that point, it's only obvious that the other candidate is hiding and they're going to lose.
Yeah, and Celsa here has a really pretty good point. He said they were also stuck with her because you can't fire a minority when your entire premise is DEI.
That's a really good point.
It's a really good point. How can you go with anyone but the half Indian, half black, half Irish, whatever female VP? I mean, this is where you get lost in identity politics, though, right? The snake will always eat its tail when the notion is ridiculous. When you have no choice but to paint yourself into a corner. It's never going to work out. This is why free speech is so important. Because good ideas flourish in the sunlight like trees. And bad ideas die in the sunlight like the mold they are. But when you don't have freedom of speech, bad ideas fester and become black mold in the structure of our country when they aren't exposed. And DEI and all the identity politics nonsense is mold. They are bad ideas. And they're on full display. Full display. And guess what? When they're on full display, they're going to start dying. And when they start dying and your entire party and your entire political career is based on this really, really bad idea, then you're going to die with it. Because your structure is made out of, blue cheese.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think there's some really good points being made here in the chat about, people didn't like the fact that a candidate was forced down their throat. They didn't get to pick somebody. They didn't want Biden, so they ended up stuck with her. I mean, that has a lot to do with it. But I think ultimately, if you just add everything up, understanding that the media was lying. I mean, ABC like chopping up her interview and it becoming so obvious.
Right.
Like
Super
you know what
obvious.
happened? The word got out. See, in the past, the powers that be are able to hide these things from the public, but the internet has made it so you can't hide these things any longer. You know, and Elon Musk made it so that we could still talk about it. So
Yep.
you're right. Without Elon, we wouldn't have known most of
Planet-
this stuff.
Planet
Wouldn't
X
know to
says
talk
that.
about it.
Trump might not have won without Elon buying Twitter. Yeah, no. Listen, Elon Musk is an American hero. And I know that the victor writes the history books, right? I'm really hoping that we win enough where in 40 years, my grandkids are learning about Elon Musk. Because this guy put it all on the line, not once or twice, but multiple times. He put his career, he put his job on the line, his business on the line, his money on the line. He put his what's the word? I just lost his career, not career. Oh my God.
Life. I don't know.
Not life. Like
What word are we looking for?
reputation.
Reputation.
He put his reputation on the line. He put everything on the line because he believed in freedom of speech. And it wasn't the leftists that are like buying Twitter. He's so dumb. He bought Twitter. Oh, look how much money he lost. He didn't buy it to make money.
Right.
You
didn't need to.
Yeah, dum-dums. He bought it because he felt like he was the only one that could. Like people don't want to give this guy credit for being a genius, but he's obviously a genius. And he sacrificed people's opinion of him to protect our right to free speech. It's an incredible, I don't know. I'm not going to keep simping for Elon, but like the guy's a hero, dude.
Well, it's not about simping for you. I mean, it's obvious, when somebody's doing it right, when you're looking towards somebody who's living their life kind of the way you hope you could and making decisions. I mean, he just aligns with us politically. He's more libertarian than anything.
Yeah, I wish I can afford a Tesla, Elon. I'm just saying, bro.
Yeah. All right. What do we, so, I mean, she lost. Well, I think we talked about all the reasons why she lost. We don't have any video for it, I don't think, but she did have to be fair, she did finally give her address. She did call Trump and concede the election. She probably should have done it the night before. The big mistake she made, and it was very embarrassing, was she didn't come out and talk with her voters.
Yeah.
At
200
night.
plus people are sitting out there waiting in the cold.
Yeah, they were at her alma mater college, and they were waiting, and she never came. She sent out somebody else to say she wasn't going to speak, and sent them all home. And I think that just leaves a bad taste. She could have easily come out and said, "Look, we're still counting the votes. I appreciate all your support. I could not do this without you guys. We'll do this again. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Thank you for coming here." Wouldn't have taken much to do that.
Yeah, and I actually tried to upload a clip of her concession speech, and it got copyright claimed by ABC. So I can't.
Okay.
I can't
they
show
don't
it
want
to
you to
you.
see it.
But to be fair, it wasn't that bad. In fact, had she been more like that during her campaign, she probably would have been done better. To be fair, but now the pressure's off. It's often that way. Concession speeches are often pretty good because the pressure's off. You lost.
Right. And it showed in both hers and Biden's speeches. But her speech, she did say, listen, we want to have, and of course, they want to show that they, that they properly turned over power. Right. They, of course, that kind of little bit of a, into Trump. But when you look at kind of the evidence, you can see why Trump was really like, what the hell happened here? Right. So we understand why there were mistakes made on January 6th, of course. But in the end, I think all is right in the world again. Wouldn't you say?
I agree. All right, let's do super chats for the next story. We got Christy's Corner.
Woo.
For $20. Christy coming in hot.
Thank you, Christy. Awesome.
Is it possible people are getting educated about Marxism and have rejected that? A girl can dream. I gotta say, the dude that came out to see my car today was I was wearing that shirt, "Socialism is for figs."
I didn't know you had one of those.
Yeah, I purposely don't wear it in public because I don't want to offend people, but I have one, and it's comfortable, so I usually wear it when I'm working from home, and I forgot I was wearing it. I came outside with the "Socialism is for Figs" shirt, and the guy starts laughing. I'm like, "Hey man, what's up? I'm Brian. You good?" He goes, "I love your shirt." Yeah, those Marxists can't. He says he's gonna curse. He goes, "Those Marxist Fs can never get our country. Them." I'm like, yeah, I agree, bro. Let's talk about the car.
Well, I mean, okay, and so and that's actually really funny. But Christy, partially, yes. Here's the thing about Marxism. Marxism sneaks up on you. Marxism is hidden by socialism, and these little tiny social programs are on the dirty path to Marxism and communism, right? And so what happens is those beliefs are anti-freedom. America is built on freedom, and it's one of the reasons why Reagan and everybody fought communism so hard. If you get a chance, watch Dennis Quaid's Reagan movie. They really take it from an angle of like a kind of a fight against communism. And the thing about Harris is she just lined up in those beliefs. What do Marxists want to do, right? They want a society that's all working together for the betterment of the society. Everybody's making sacrifices, right? Marxism leads into communism, and now communism is where the government provides the exact same thing. And so it's a really like balancing act that you have to do here. But the problem is it just doesn't work. What has happened in our country is we have social programs, welfare, workman's comp,
EBT,
there's different
SNAP.
There's wealth. Yeah. There's a lot of programs that were brought in to kind of help smooth out capitalism.
Yeah. Free lunches at school, child credits, there's a lot of stuff.
Right. But the problem is when you go too far over, then you're starting to cut into individual liberties, which is what our country is about.
Right.
So you're not dreaming, Christy. I do think that people can sense that. The problem is, here's what's really crazy. Kamala Harris never actually was able to vocally talk about what her policies were properly so that people could see the truth in how she feels about Marxism and about socialism. So people really didn't get a chance to diss her based on that. They just dissed her based on her not being capable.
Yeah, well, it was obvious she wasn't capable, though. When she was on that show with that right-wing robot, what's his name? I'm forgetting his name. We talked about it. But she was like, he was like, the American people are worried that you don't have any policy. He goes, we have a lot of policies. Go to KamalaForPresidentWhatever.com and you can see all my policies right there. I found it hilarious that she couldn't just name one.
Right.
Because I don't think she knew what they were.
Well, she was repeating Donald Trump's, the ones that she liked. So
like I said, tax on tips, secure the border, kick her out, lock her up. You're like, what?
Well, I mean, even the obvious one that they kept getting her on, which was the fracking thing, right? She goes, hey, I've already said where I stand on fracking. I said it back in 2020. And then when you go back and look at 2020, she's saying that Joe Biden won't stop fracking. Right. She never actually changed her position. And she did that on purpose so that she could remain ambiguous. So it's just,
she reached out to the low information voter, and because of Twitter and social media and the information we have access to, even the low information voter has more information than what they were used to having 20 years ago.
Well, and if you think about it, in 2020, the Hunter Biden laptop story was suppressed by the government, right? Was suppressed so that way we couldn't get access to see the truth. Okay. And all the social media platforms got it squashed. So we couldn't see it to make a voting, to help during the vote.
Yeah. All the information I got on that was from 4chan.
Well, and that's a prime example. And 4chan's not where nobody's on 4chan hardly.
No one's on 4chan, and it's not a very reputable place to get information.
Right. So the fact that the government, and, that's why when you say, that Elon's an American hero, he is, because we wouldn't have access to this information.
Right.
And if we don't have access to information, the government can tell you anything it wants.
Right.
And you don't know what to believe.
Bingo. That's the point of a free press, so that the government isn't the only voice being heard. Right. There's a problem when the press works for the government.
Exactly.
Okay. Chris's Corner again for $4.99. I think my words can cause a strike. Please. Oh, too late for that, girl.
We don't care.
Yeah, we don't care. Thank you for that, though. And thank you for another $5. No, it's all good. We're good. We know how to fight the strikes.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
as long as Shane doesn't take his shirt off again, we're fine.
Wow, that's not good. Yeah. Although we probably should start up our streams on Rumble just so that we have another place to go.
So we will be simulcasting to Rumble starting next Saturday. I already got it set up. I was going to just announce it next Saturday, but that's what we're doing.
Awesome.
I still have to change. The reason we're not doing it today is I have to change that whole channel over the new branding and all that and sort of separate it and all that. So it's the whole thing.
Yeah, I think we're also going to be in podcast form too soon. So you'll be able to.
Yes, the podcast is getting set up. So after our show every Saturday, it's probably going to be Sunday morning because it takes time for a 3-hour podcast to process. But Sunday morning is the totally unfiltered, uncensored, completely uncut version of our entire stream will go up on iTunes, Zune, Google Cast, all of them.
Stitcher, all that.
Stitcher, whatever, yeah.
Awesome.
Does anyone still use Zune?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
No. Got another super chat here.
From Drew D coming in hot. I love that Trump won, but looking forward, I feel politically lost after Trump. I don't agree with some GOP things, but Dem move too far left. Yeah, dude, you're not the only one.
That's a great comment. You know,
I'm not a fan of the GOP. I think they're a bunch of slime. I think a lot of them are slimy cowards, dude. And even if we agree on the same things spiritually or whatever, or some of the basic concepts, I believe that most of the Republicans say whatever they want to get to the next election. And I gotta tell you, and if I'm wrong, someone correct me in the chat. But listen, Ted Cruz started off like maybe he learned something from Trump. And then he kept saying the same thing. We got to fight big tech. We got to fight big tech. Don't worry. We're going to have another subpoena. We're going to bring big tech before the Senate. And we're going to talk to him. Another hearing. And he has all these moments, all these talking points where he gets to scold, Zuckerberg or whoever. And he gets to point his finger at them and you have betrayed the American people, sir. And it goes on his TikTok and his Facebook and his podcast. And then what? Nothing.
Right.
Every one of those hearings, nothing. It's just able for him to showcase his election platform. That's it.
It's his constituency. Yeah. So the Trump has spoiled us. And here's the thing about being a guy who, he's authentic. So even if you don't like him, he is who he is. And the one thing about politicians, I've said this before, you guys have heard me say it. The one thing about politicians that are always the worst is when they're talking to you, you can, if at least I can tell that they're lying to me. I can tell that they're not being genuine. Trump is being genuine. He's not afraid to say things that he probably shouldn't say. And that's anti-political because you don't want to piss somebody off and get him get mad at you. And the one thing about JD Vance, who's his running mate, is JD does have a little bit of that used car salesman to him.
He does. Yeah.
And unfortunately, and here's what I'm going to tell you about if you're worried about after Trump, you're just going to have to make the best decisions you can on who it is because it's not going to change. We're not going to get, there was only one Andrew Jackson. There's only one Donald Trump.
Right.
Ultimately, most people will be bending to power, trying to make their lives as best as they can. I mean, what are politicians doing? Yes, they get into it because they're like, I'm concerned about the issues. But once they get there, they realize, oh my God, my life is so great. I never want to leave. And then they do or say whatever they have to stay in power.
Right.
I don't know how to change that. Until we can figure out how to change that, we can't change our politicians. So we just got to try to pick the best ones, hold them accountable like we're doing, and maybe we'll get a new change. Maybe Trump will inspire some people to be more like themselves. We'll have to see.
And he did. So that sort of happened. Like what did Ted Cruz do after he lost to Trump? He went to Daddy Trump's after he got elected. He's all clean shaven. Hello, Mr. President Trump. And he comes out and all of a sudden his voice is an octave lower. He's grown a full beard. He's wearing cowboy boots and he has open carry. He clearly learned something, but I don't think he learned everything. He needs to follow through with what he's doing.
The problem is that who Ted Cruz really is, I don't think we would really like. I think that's the problem. So he can't really be himself because, honestly, what he is he's just a politician. That's who he is. So I don't know.
We do have some people that are Trump Republicans, like DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy.
Well, they all have their. Everybody worries about money.
Is that his name, Vivek Ramaswamy?
Yeah, Vivek. He seems like he would be good. He's a good populist guy. Dan Crenshaw is very interesting to listen to. The guy with the patch over his eye.
Dan Crenshaw, though, I like him. I like him more because he has a patch than anything. Like
maybe that's what it is.
Because he looks like a comic book villain. He's like, let me tell you something, Pierce. There is no establishment. And you're like, motherfucker, there is an establishment. You were part of the establishment. What are you talking about?
Well, and here's what's funny is like,
but he seems sort of cool because the eye patch,
Well, it's also he speaks pretty plainly.
He speaks plainly, yeah.
And maybe he doesn't want people to buy into the fact there's an establishment because that hurts him.
But there is an establishment. Like you part of the establishment, Holmes.
But if he says there's an establishment, see, he doesn't have enough power to say there's no establishment.
Right.
He wants to get reelected. That's the problem with politicians. So we have to do the speaking for the people who can't, and we will.
Yeah, I did see him on Pierce Morgan, and he was trying to. There was another Republican on the panel, and he's like, and I forgot the guy's name, so I'm just gonna say Bob. Okay, it's like Bob, you know what I'm talking about. Tell Shank the establishment thing is not real, and Bob's like, no, I actually agree with Shank. The establishment's a problem.
That's the guy from the PBD podcast.
Yeah, right. But it was hilarious. Mm-hmm. He thought he had like an ally because they both share an R.
Right. Yeah.
And he's like, oh no, absolutely not. There 100% is an establishment. You're part of it. I agree with Shank. And Shank's like, hello.
And unfortunately, 99% of all politicians are part of the establishment because they're trying to get, listen.
And then he tried to flip it. He's like, well, Trump's part of the establishment too. I'm like, no, he's not. Because you know what? You guys hated him.
He didn't say, he said he takes, no, there was a different talk. He didn't say establishment. He said
he takes money.
Donors. Right. And that's true. They all took money.
That's true.
That's something they had wrong. Listen, you can't now. They really need to change that. Still don't understand why elections need money. I don't understand. Right. Because why can't the government just say, look, here's the amount of money we're going to put. I'd be willing, if you got to pay people to put ads out there, why can't that be something the government pays for? Right? If you want to advertise on TV or whatever, I think we'll be better off if we didn't have any ads on TV. Right? All the ads are terrible anyways.
Let's just start somewhere. We can start somewhere reasonably. Ready? You cannot get money from businesses. Only people.
Well, okay.
If we just start there, like let's start at a place that is reasonable, because you ask them and take all money out of it, it's losing. But if you go, you know what? Microsoft, you're not allowed to donate to a political party because corporations with endless amounts of money donating to a political party to take power. Listen, that is so problematic. You can say, oh, they're just donating to the party they believe is best. No. Maybe 1% of that is the case. The other 99% is them buying an opinion, a lobby, or whatever. Businesses that have skin in the game, that you can tie to a conflict of interest, should not be able to donate.
What if you put a cap on it and said you could only donate $100? How about that? The most you can donate is $100. They can't do nothing with that now. But if 100 million people donate $100,
that's
not plenty of money.
Let's do that. I'm down for that.
$100. Nobody owes you shit for $100. If you give me $100, that's not true. If you donate $100, if you super chat us $100, we're going to be very grateful.
Right. But hold on. You know what I'm saying? But am I going to like change the way I operate for $100? No. But if
you might. But
I might because I'm very poor. But when Google's like, hey, Kamala, we're so excited you're running. Here's $20 million.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way that's not coming with strings. Hello, come on.
Right. No, they gave her, I think, only 1.4.
I'm just saying.
Super PACs are the problem. This is something that needs to be changed.
I like the idea. You can raise money, but only real people can donate.
Yeah.
And the cap is $100.
And you got to track it. Only one donation per social security number.
Right.
One donation per social security number. And if you don't got a social security number, well, you probably shouldn't be here.
Well, you can't. Yeah. If you don't, if you don't have a social security number, there's some other problems we need to discuss.
Right.
All right. I like that. That's good. It's good. I like it. Let's see. We solved the problem today.
We did. There we go. Solved.
It's never going to happen.
Now we can get people to stop giving to special interest groups.
It's never going to happen. They're going to do it forever. All right. So I got some fun to go over real quick. A little break from the serious stuff. Let's talk about the absolute epic level of salt mining happening right now.
Oh my gosh.
You guys,
I want a shirt that says that's got like a jar and it says not leftist, but
liberal
far
tears.
far left tears.
Alt left tears. Yeah, listen, there's been a lot of salt mining going on, and I'm pulling up my overalls and I'm getting my shovel out because I'm gonna salt mine with you guys right now.
All right.
And we're gonna start with the biggest cuck on television. The biggest soy boy hypocrite there is.
What did you just say?
I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop recording because you're interrupting my whole thing. What was that?
What word did you just say?
Oh, a cuck.
I thought you said something else.
I didn't. Let's go back. Let's try again.
Well, I mean, I don't want to get you two going here, but that was funny. Look, there are people laughing in the chat. That was funny.
We're starting our salt mining today with the biggest cuck on television, the soy boy himself, the master of hypocritical blackface, the womanizer that sold out to the establishment because he probably spent way too much time at a Diddy party.
Oh, let's be honest. It was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go. It was a terrible night last night.
I'm gonna start crying.
He is gonna start crying.
Yeah. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go. For healthcare, for our climate, for science.
Who's the audience here?
For journalism, for justice, for free speech. It was a terrible night for poor people, for the middle class, for seniors who are alive.
I just want one person to be like, Jimmy, how?
They wouldn't be at his show.
How is it a terrible night for any single person you mentioned right now?
Well, here's the thing. They wouldn't be at his show.
I'm poor. It's not a terrible night for me. It's great. It's great. It was awesome. I might actually go back to making some of the money I made 4 years ago. You can sign me up. Holy crap.
Well, Jimmy has the worst TDS probably of anybody.
Oh my God. His brain is absolutely boiled in just soy oil, dude. All right, let's finish it.
On Social Security, for our allies in Ukraine, for NATO, for truth and democracy and decency. And it was a terrible night for everyone who voted against him. And guess what? It was a bad night for everyone who voted for him too. You just don't realize it yet.
It's like he thinks that we don't know what happened 4 years ago. It's like,
that's why they lost, Brian. You want to know why they lost? This is why they lost. They treat us like we don't know. We don't know enough. They're better than we are. Jimmy thinks he's better than everybody else, and he's telling you how you should feel. Did you see how he's just talking down to? He just talked down to immigrants.
You don't even know it yet.
Down to women. He just talked down to all those people. He said, "You don't even know." Like he knows. Like what the fuck do you know?
You don't know nothing, bro.
You don't know anything. And I got to tell you, he is the worst beta male. I don't know what hell has happened to the Man Show guy, but holy cow.
Yeah.
You know, I hope your Hollywood parties that they're going to take good care of you. Okay. Because I got some bad news. I think he even got upset over the Aaron Rodgers mentioned the he being on the list for the other guy.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
for
Yeah,
Epstein.
the Epstein thing.
So I don't know, buddy.
He's such a cock. It's crazy.
But that's why they lost, man. Right there is why they lost.
Right
You
there.
talk down to people, they don't want to hear it. You aren't shit, dude. You got a TV show. Congratulations.
Good for you.
Good for you. I'm happy for
How
you.
many dicks you have
But
to suck to
doesn't-
keep that TV show, bro? I want
That doesn't make you any smarter than any of us regular Joes.
Right, and you have a good point here. Like, look at the vast amount of celebrities that came out to endorse Kamala in the 11th hour. Like, do you think that a regular person is going to look at Cardi B and be like, she's made some good decisions, I'm going to vote for Kamala? Like, are you have to think we're just so dumb to take someone like J-Lo in the middle of the P. Diddy trial. You put J-Lo on stage to tell us who to vote for.
She's made some good choices.
Are you insane? Like who? Oh, it's just unbelievably stupid. I don't think any celebrity endorsement will ever sway me, but especially not the chick who has made money off of speaking almost entirely in slang while shaking her fake butt to the camera. In no way is that ever going to remotely sway me. Look, if it doesn't sway my penis, you're certainly not swaying my vote. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, and it just shows you once again how little they think of people. They think, well, if we just put this famous person up there, then they'll automatically do whatever we want because they're too stupid to know any better. It's just sad, cheap.
All right, here's another one. Let's do a little more salt mining, shall we? Here we go.
I'm sorry. No.
Yes.
You paused it. You paused it at the perfect spot there. That's great.
Yes.
Why?
I heard this though.
Do you really hate me that bad?
I just don't
Oh my
understand why we
gosh.
can't have a female president. Like, why not?
Some of the comments on this one was like, so the only 2 women ever run for president has been beat by Trump.
Oh, jeez. I didn't think about it like that. That's a good point.
Pretty hard.
Like, how much more qualified and intelligent and perfect for the position do we have to be?
Kamala is not
how about a little bit qualified.
Yeah.
How about a little bit?
Just a little bit. Can we get a little bit?
Hillary was qualified.
Yeah, Hillary was qualified.
Hillary was qualified. Harris, not even remotely qualified.
No, not at all qualified for this, bro. It's insane.
I can't believe.
Oh, here.
Like, why?
By the way, guys, the next one.
I can't believe.
Hey, this is the guy. Because when we first started podcasting, Shane was like, I don't want to podcast, dude. I'm a big dude. I don't want to do that. I'm like, Shane, can I show you a video?
Was this the guy?
Yeah. And I showed you a video of Boogie at the time. He had like 50,000 people watching his stream, and he's even bigger than we are. And you're like, oh yeah, we can do this. So
that's what convinced me. You're right.
So Boogie is a white dude for Harris. Here we go. By the way, I apologize ahead of time.
Trump's actually gonna win this fucking thing. Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm so pissed off. Fuck. God damn it.
Well, can't unsee that.
All right, watch this one.
The United States.
The U.S. president is Donald Trump.
I had to include that.
The entire testosterone in America went up by 20%.
Yeah. So here's a lady. You think, why is her head shaved? Clearly, she has cancer.
Okay, yeah.
But you'd be wrong. She shaved her head because she lost her bodily autonomy because Trump was elected.
What? I don't even know what that means.
Yeah. I don't know what that means.
What does that mean?
And it looks like she is not only going to win, but she is going to be winning a second term. The next 8 years in her chart looks.
She's predicting Kamala 2-term president.
Got it. Yeah.
And this is her right now. Ready?
Look really, really strong. Trump's not so much. Okay, so I was wrong.
Oh God. Okay, well I was wrong.
I gotta watch that again.
That's actually great.
It's too good. It's so good. I gotta watch it again. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Winning a second term. The next 8 years in her chart look really, really strong. Trump's not so much. Okay, so I was wrong. A lot of astrologers were wrong. A lot of.
I need to watch the whole thing.
Well, that's because astrology isn't a real science.
Yeah.
I hate to break this to you.
It's not science.
Of course.
She starts
Astrology
crying.
is not real right now.
She starts crying. She says she has to leave the country. She doesn't know where she's gonna go.
These are the things I want to hear. It's great.
Oh, here.
In the world right now, and I know that like you guys think this is some big gotcha, but I don't give a f if you think astrology is not real right now, because there's real life happening in this country.
Ouch.
I don't think there's a universe where Donald J. Trump wins all 3 of the blue wall states.
He won them in 2016.
We're not in 2016.
No,
we have seen his reaction to COVID. We've seen January 6th insurrection. We've seen 2 impeachments. We've seen 34 felony convictions. This is not 2016.
If it was that close, you guys should be putting this thing away if that was the case.
Hey girlies, so just so you know, IUDs will last throughout the entirety of his presidency.
Okay, so this lady.
Yeah, what's going on here?
She thinks. Okay, first off, I'm sorry, I gotta do this. He's not even president yet. He's president-elect. Even if you thought he was going to put you in internment camps, take away your birth control, shave your head, and dump you in Mexico, or whatever you think, you have a couple months to figure it out.
There's time before he can do this to you.
So even if you think, if you really believe that he's going to do any of the wild crap you are saying, there's still like 2 months before any of that can happen. But let's be real. None of that is happening. Trans people aren't being forced to retransition. Mexicans that are here legally are not going back to Mexico.
And honestly, I don't think all of them are going to go back.
Gay people aren't going to conversion therapy camps where their balls are shocked. And you know what? This is the most important one. Ready? No one is touching your birth control. No one.
No.
So you're really freaking out over the most insane.
Oh, that's right. There's people who think they're going to be forced to have babies.
Yes,
right? Isn't that right?
They think it's going to be Handmaid's Tale, bro.
I didn't see that, so I don't know.
So she's telling people, "Don't worry, you can get an IUD. It'll last the most of his presidency." Right, here we go.
Is that what she's
So
saying?
if you want to have somewhat of a choice over your body, you should
If you want somewhat of a choice over your body,
probably go get one.
Look, I was.
She needs to move to a state where she can do whatever she wants. That's what needs to happen.
I don't think any state is saying you can't use birth control. That's wild, hyperbolic nonsense.
This is what's happened, though. When you get in these echo chambers, and listen, we've spent time in echo chambers. We're smart enough to be aware that we're in an echo chamber, and we remind ourselves constantly that we're probably being fed not always the correct information.
Yeah.
So we kind of pull back a little bit. But
What Shane's saying is our echo chamber is better.
No, I'm saying
I'm joking.
And maybe young people don't have the skills to do this. I don't know. Maybe because we didn't have echo chambers growing up.
Yeah.
Maybe we lived a life where we were skeptical. But now young people, they just believe whatever they're told. They believe what I tell my kids every day. Do not believe what you hear on that internet.
No, don't do it. Oh my God.
At least half of it's wrong. Okay.
At least. All right. This is pretty good.
Wasn't going to sleep, but do y'all see this? Do you see it? Let me
It's not
move
showing
in
on the
close. Y'all see that? Do y'all see that? What is going on, Trump?
We can't see. They can't see it, bro.
2024?
Oh, my bad.
Trump
Thank you.
2024. I wasn't going to sleep. Look what I see. It is over.
I'm excited for
He
her.
flipped the world red.
I'm excited for her.
Kamala Harris, white women voters did not. That is what it appears happened in that state, is that if you can't flip enough white women, and we've talked about this on this set numerous times, is that you have a state where you've got a 6-week abortion or a 12-week abortion. I think theirs might be 12 weeks.
Yep.
But it's a state where women lost their reproductive rights, where there was a very heavy...
The phrase reproductive rights is so manipulative, right?
Right.
That's why some of these people think they're going to be forced to have babies.
So I know, and this is why they keep saying it. They keep doing that. But the reality is that, you know, the federal mandate was, I think you could have an abortion all the way through the second trimester.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have an abortion through 6 months, if I'm getting this correctly. Up to 6 months, you could have an abortion. What the repeal of Roe, and that was a nationwide law, okay? Because when Roe versus Wade came out, there were states that didn't allow abortion at all,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And there may be some states that will try to do that, but the people will get to vote, okay? And the people, and trust me, it's way better than it was a long time ago. So now just move to a state. If your priority is having a bunch of
you can
abortions
just
or
go
having
there
abortions-
temporarily. Go on vacation to California.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
There's like 4 abortion clinics in like a 6-block radius, like 2 miles away from me. Not hard.
Right. And, or, I mean, like I said, I
They
think
have a
most
drive-through
places-
abortion here.
I mean, most places are still going to let you have an abortion. I think most states, probably every state, is
pull up-
probably going to let you still have an abortion.
You pull up like, can I
Okay.
order the number 1, please? And then you see the chick's legs sticking out.
The legs are up. You got some guy going through the McDonald's drive-through with forceps, you know, trying to
That's so
figure that
horrible.
shit out. It's terrible. But yeah, I mean, it's just they've over dramatized this, and now people believe it. Now, like I said, let's check back a year from now and find out if you guys are all still okay. And maybe there's no war in Europe. Maybe there's no war in Israel. Maybe Iran doesn't have nuclear missiles. Maybe our gas prices are down, and maybe our food prices are down. Maybe things are better. Let's see what happens.
Maybe the Dow is up. How about that?
It's up right now.
Maybe maybe stocks are up. And you know what? When the stock market's up, everyone wins. Everyone wins.
Amen.
Because it all trickles down into everyone making more money, even if you're not investing. People seem to think that they should only care about the stock market because if they're investing. Well, I don't really invest in the stock market, so I don't care. It's not about just you. Because when the stock market does well, everyone does well.
Absolutely.
All right. Next one here.
heavy push to get women to focus on not putting in responsible for taking those yet enough interact. People aren't receptive.
I don't like Joy, whatever her name is. She's horrible. She really bothers me when she speaks.
Well, she doesn't say a lot that's good.
I'm gonna go past her. Okay, here's some more salt.
Winning again. All of the people who voted for him will be like happy and they'll just be celebrating. And everyone else, everyone who feels threatened by him is fucking scared. Like we're scared.
I'm so scared.
I mean, listen, I honestly feel bad for her, bro.
What are you scared of though?
But she does. That's what I'm saying.
But I am not going to feel bad for you being delusional. That is your
she
problem.
Believes it. Well, it is. But you know what? It's also a nationwide problem. Honestly, it's a youth problem.
So I don't suffer fools, man.
Like this.
And she's a fool
maybe
if she believes this.
Maybe she's a fool. Okay, but maybe she's like maybe we have a fool problem going forward.
that's
you know what I'm saying?
Good. Yeah.
Maybe she's a fool, but maybe we got a fool problem for our next generation.
Maybe.
Anyway, yeah.
Scared for our lives. We're scared for our doctors are scared.
I'm gonna go past this.
When every word do not
She's like genuinely crying. It's crazy. Oh, here we go. Here we go. What?
Scared. She's really actually. You know, this is not fake. This is true.
Oh, this is the same one who was like, I'm not really afraid for me because I'm a white, but I'm afraid for my friends. They're minorities and my friends that are LGBT queer. And I'm like, oh my God.
they believe that. Yeah, it's a shame. They need to. You know what you guys need to do? You need to watch a little more of the other side. It's not always easy to hear something you don't like to hear, but you need to listen. If everybody's telling you, if you live in a village and everybody's telling you that there are wolves outside the village, and if you go outside the walls, they will kill you, you're going to believe it.
Right.
Until somebody goes outside the walls and nothing happens.
Right.
That's what's going on here, bro.
Yeah,
that's what's going on.
You're completely right. All right. What's this guy's name again?
Oh, this is Al Sharpton.
Yeah, he lost a lot of weight, so it always confuses me. He's basically just like skin now. Just like a lot of skin. All right, here's Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton.
Trump, I've known a long time. He was self-destruct. The problem that I see is not Trump. The problem is that those that can be appealed to in this way, and how we've got to bring this country together. And we cannot do it by being like January 6th ourselves. There would not be a January 6th on our side. We will deal with this in a dignified way and try to put the pieces together. So we've lost, but we lost a battle. The war is not over.
Well, Rev, let's talk about, you talked about gender and race. Let's talk about race.
You know why there's not going to be a January 6th?
But he
Brian?
didn't say a single thing about gender and race there.
Right. Well, this will be funny. I want to hear this. But just to point out, the reason why there's not going to be a January 6th on the Democrat side is nothing weird happened this election.
Right. Yeah, there was
all the weird shit happened in 2020. That's why people showed up and said, hold on a second.
Yeah. It's funny because even like the hardcore leftist echo chamber people are like, they thought there was something weird. Wow, we're missing 20 million ballots. And then when they actually look at it, like, and this year is exactly how it has been for the last, 86 elections. They're like, oh wait, I think we cheated.
This guy's the worst. This
guy is the worst. Oh, I hate him.
Donald Trump fared very well with Hispanic voters, especially Hispanic men. The numbers are coming in still a little early, but I think he did better with black men than was expected.
Look at those numbers, dude. Look at those numbers.
In the past,
watch when it shows Republicans.
And what do you think pushed that, especially with the Hispanic voters going for Donald Trump as much as they did? Because that made a big difference.
I think that a lot of it was he was able to sell a lot of Hispanic voters that immigration was a threat to them.
So this is the problem I have with this. You would think that if he was selling illegal immigration, they'd be less voting for him. They wouldn't be voting for him. But he didn't convince them or sell any of them. He just showed them the facts.
The truth, right? Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, he said sell them.
Yeah.
He didn't sell anything.
Here's the truth, guys. And they're like, oh yeah, get these guys out of here.
Yeah, Al Sharpton's just another slimy politician.
Al Sharpton's so slimy. I remember watching him on Boston Legal, and he just bothered the crap out of me, dude. Because they treated him like he was some kind of god king or something.
Well, some reverends are slimy politicians.
All right, the last one, then we're gonna move on.
Guys, they just called it. They just called it for Pennsylvania, Charlie. It has been called.
Just called. This is Charlie Kirk.
Let's go, baby.
Charlie,
what
Trump
is
the number?
White House.
What is the number?
Is that it? Happened. Remember where you were when you.
I just want to show him he's on our side, and he just starts weeping with joy.
What's his name? Charlie Kirk.
Charlie
He's
Kirk.
got a podcast. Yeah.
I figured you guys see a little bit of happy crying instead of just virtue signaling crying.
It's a big deal, man. I mean, in all of our lives, inflation, and I have never in my life faced as much adversity, financial adversity, as I have in the last 4 years. And
it's been so hard.
I've never seen prices go up. Prices have always gone up. They've never gone up like this.
Right.
So people are hurting, bro. So you got to have some change.
I'll tell you who's not hurting right now. I'm not hurting because John Burns just gave us a super chat for $13.99. Thank you, John Burns.
Thank you, John.
He says the U.S. is at the stage where they have to be attacked for Trump to start a war. I might visit you guys, but I'm keeping Canada safe by not visiting the White House.
Oh man, yeah. Why don't you take care of some house cleaning up there yourself, John? For get rid of that strange prime minister.
Yeah, what's that guy's name again?
Justin Trudeau.
Yeah, Justin Trudeau. Ugh.
I hope it's sad because Canada has its own issues, and they don't have free speech in Canada like we do. So pray for our Canadian brothers. Thank you, John. Appreciate that.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it, man. From Chappie for $5, Cardi B. Did you guys see the clip of her speech with the voiceover? Yeah.
I didn't see it.
She can't read, bro. she can't read.
Well, you hear the way she talks. Maybe
the teleprompter went out, and she was like, grr, grr. Okay, hold up, everybody. Calm down. Grr, grr, calm down. Calm down. I'm waiting. Oh, you know, I got some good things to say. I'm waiting. Grr, grr. And finally, her assistant comes up there with the phone, and she's like, okay. Yeah, oh my, it was so bad.
Was she the one who put out "We Need a Hail Mary"?
I don't know.
Early in the results coming out. I think
was that her?
Yeah, she's like, "We need a Hail Mary." She can't read, but she knew shit was going down bad.
Yeah. Okay.
John Burns, member for 5 months. Dudes, could you please knock it off with the hardcore nudity? This is a Christian Minecraft stream. Thank you so much. It's burned into my eye sockets, John. I feel you, dog. I feel you.
Christian Minecraft stream. John Burns again for $6.99. Guys, I don't like what you're doing. It's what the media does. It's like pointing out the village idiot being interviewed. 18% in Michigan for Stein. Stein is the Green Party?
Yes.
Yeah. Why does she keep running?
Because that's what the Green Party, they've always done that, dude.
They just keep running?
They always run. Yeah. They're there to not do anything. They're not be taken seriously, but they do take a few votes. And I noticed that that in some of the closed states, I was sweating it because Kennedy Jr. was on the ballot in some states where they couldn't get him removed, and it was tight. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's got like 50,000 votes there. I don't like that.
That's hilarious.
No, that's funny, John. That's funny. We're pointing out the truth.
Oh, Chappie said no. Some dude did a voiceover her speech. Oh, just put it in Discord. We'll play it in the member section if you find it.
Kenneth La Rocque gifted 5 the BRANE Show memberships. Awesome. Thank you, Ken.
Hot.
There are some folks who are so grateful that you did that. And we see the list here of folks we'll be seeing over in the member section. All right.
Let's talk about what's next. So President Trump is now president-elect. He has been elected president. He's swept through. We pretty much own everything. Or at least red. It's a red tidal wave. So Shane, you're gonna have to explain this because you are way more educated on this topic than I am. When does he take power? When can he actually accomplish anything? And then we'll talk about that speech he made about the 250-year anniversary thing.
Okay. Well, it's really important that everybody understands that for the next couple months until I think it's January 20th. That's when the inauguration should be, January 20th. He won't be president until then. He's the president-elect, and you basically have a lame duck presidency with Biden. What does that mean? He's not going to be able to get anything accomplished. Biden won't in the next couple months because the majority Republican Senate won't let him. A lot of people are calling, pack the Senate, pack the judiciary, get all the, do as much as you can. Well, the problem is Biden's not going to be able to because the Senate won't let him do it. And anything that Biden decides to executive order before he leaves office, Trump can just rip up as soon as he's president, because that's how executive orders work, which is exactly what he did to Trump when he was elected in 2020, and the reason why our border was wide open. But right now, what Trump needs to do, what's going to happen is he needs to lay low. Okay. He did say some things that were very interesting. I'm going to have the Ukraine-Russia war ended before I take office. He has to be very careful. There's a little thing called the Logan Law. And this is where Democrats in power will be watching every step he makes. If we win the House of Representatives, they won't be able to impeach him, but we haven't won it yet. Republicans haven't won it yet. So we have to wait and see what happens. But if he tries to if he breaks any laws, and this Logan Law is one of those things where there's only allowed to be one president at a time. Okay. So he can't, he's not supposed to be talking with world leaders. He's not supposed to be moving agendas for the United States. That's not his job yet. And if he does too much stuff, they could try to get him on that law. There is also something in the 14th Amendment that talks about, felons, and there's something they could try to go after him. But if you notice, all of the it just came out, Jack, the guy who was going to get after him for all of his.
Oh, Jack Scott or something like that.
No, it's another name, Jack. But anyways, it's all being dropped. So
Of course it is.
So he just needs to lay low for a couple months and then get his team together and then come in hard.
Yeah. What do you need? Jack Smith. He needs to take a break. Take a break.
Take a break. You've earned it.
Let everything settle. Yeah, you've earned it. Let everything settle out and wait to actually be. Yeah, don't be the president right now. That's important.
Get your team together.
Everyone's dropping all the bull, and this is how you know the cases are bull crap, because the guy becomes president and they all start going away.
Well, they can't. They also can't come after a president, so that's actually legal. So yeah, and plus, I'm sure that they don't want to. So
sure,
a lot of people are going to say that Trump ran for president so that he could avoid convictions. What I'll tell you is Trump would have never been convicted had his political opponents not tried to get him convicted.
Right.
So, we're going to fight about that. That's something that we may never come together on. But what he needs to do is lay low for the next couple months, get his team ready, figure out who he wants his cabinet members to be, get the transition team hot, know exactly where you want to go on first day, and then get to work first day. And I really think he will. I think he's excited to get in there and start making changes.
Okay, that's awesome. So I think everything you said. Thank you for that information. I think you're right. That's what needs to happen. Although he did come out and he did a press release video kind of thing about what's going to happen in his presidency, specifically involving the 250 year anniversary of our great country. And we're going to play a little bit of that right now.
3 years from now, the United States will celebrate the biggest and most important milestone in our country's history. 250 years of American independence. What a great country. And we have to keep it that way. But that's why, as a nation, we should be preparing for a most spectacular birthday party. We want to make it the best of all time. Here is my plan to give America's founding in 1776 the incredible anniversary it truly deserves. On day one, I will convene a White House task force called Salute to America 250. It will be responsible for coordinating with state and local governments to ensure not just one day of celebration,
hang in here, it's about to get
but
crazy,
an entire year of festivities across the nation.
A year.
That's Rome shit right there, dude. That's gladiator Rome shit.
That's
what they used to do.
How is that even logistically possible?
We're going to find out.
Like, I can understand a day. Like, you get the right people involved. Every store is up for it. Everyone puts it in their bios, and there's all kinds of sales and barbecues. Okay, I got it. Maybe a big fair. A year? How do you keep a year going?
Well, this is when the purge actually begins. So if you've seen those movies, we start the purge on the 250th.
At the end of our 1 year is when we start the purge. And if you are trans, LGBT, basically anything but a white man, you're going to be murdered or subjected to childbirth. Hope you enjoy your year off.
That was Mad Max, by the way. The women in Mad Max basically were forced to have babies. So,
and The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, you're right.
That's so funny. Okay, let's keep going.
Starting on Memorial Day 2025 and continuing through July 4th, 2026.
That's literally an entire year.
Hell yeah.
Like, I am as patriot as it gets, you guys. Look at my hat. 1776. I'm all about America. I love this country. A year is excessive. I feel like it's too long. And I don't think I can afford that long of a celebration, frankly speaking.
250. That's a whole year, man. Yeah, 250 years.
That's wild, dude. Although, if it's successful, that 4th of July is going to be the most epic 4th of July in the history of 4th of July.
That's what he's hoping for.
Right.
Second, I will work with all 50 governors, Republican and Democrat alike, to create the Great American State Fair, a unique one-year exhibition feature.
It's not for a whole, well, it might be for a whole year.
A 1-year exposition fair. It's a state fair for a year.
I'm already poor. I can't go to the state fair for a day. It's like $250, $300.
Dude, I can't go. Yeah, I can't go for a day.
Do you know how much the tickets are just for the kids to ride?
Are there going to be hotels there people can stay in?
I'm going to need to get a job at this year state fair.
And look, there's probably a lot of things that we're not, like, we're making fun of it, and it's probably fine. But it does sound, it's such a Trump thing. That's why I like the guy. He's like, in 2 years, we're going to have a year-long state fair.
Well, I mean, did he say, can you rewind it back? Are we missing this? Are we misunderstanding what he's saying by a year here?
Pavilions create. I will work with all 50 governors, Republican and Democrat alike, to create the Great American State Fair, a unique one-year exhibition featuring pavilions from all 50 states. It'll be something.
One-year exhibition.
The Great American State Fair will showcase the glory of every state in the Union, promote pride in our history, and put forth innovative visions for America's future. My hope is that the amazing people of Iowa will work with my administration.
He's going to turn the entire state of Iowa into a state fair.
Listen, no offense to anybody in Iowa. I was there. There's not a whole lot else there.
Right. Maybe they
it's
need
a great
it.
place to have it.
Right.
Yeah, great place to have it.
Hey, Michigan flipped for Trump, right?
I know. How did that happen?
How did that happen? Well, maybe it's because Detroit is such a crapshoot, you know? And
it's the auto workers.
Auto workers, yeah. So maybe Iowa needs a little bit of love too. We could bring back the auto workers to Michigan, bring back the state fair to Iowa. Let's go.
To open up the legendary Iowa State Fairgrounds to host the Great American State Fair and welcome millions and millions of visitors from around the world to the heartland of America for this special one-time festival. Together we will build it and they will come. Third, alongside the Great American State Fair, we will host major sporting contests for high school athletes. These are great athletes, wonderful athletes from fantastic high schools all around the country. These Patriot Games will allow young Americans from every state to show off the milestone.
I'm sorry, I had the wrong button. He is actually bringing back gladiators.
There you go. But it's our kids who are going to fight. Wait, wait, we've seen this movie. It's the Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. We got the Purge, we got the Hunger Games.
Yeah, we're doing great. Actually, babe, we got to go to Iowa. I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
Patriot Games will allow young Americans from every state to show off the best of American skills, sportsmanship, and competitive spirit. Fourth, I will sign an executive order to bring back our National Garden of American Heroes, which we want to build very badly.
I'm just going to summarize this part. It's basically a garden with a lot of statues. Let's go past that part. It's not very important. Here we go.
States in honor of our 250th anniversary. It's going to be great. America's tourist industry should get ready because we're going to have a lot of people coming. It will be a record year. And finally, and most importantly, I will ask America's great religious communities to pray for our nation and our people as we prepare for this momentous occasion. From the very beginning, America has been a country sustained and strengthened by prayer and by our communities.
That's pretty much it.
Hey, you know what happened when he was in Iowa and he's like doing his thing? They're like, President Trump, I mean, what can you do for us? And he's like, just wait and see. I'll show you what I can do for you.
Trust me, it's gonna be huge. Literally.
Let's go beyond the mark here. Beyond the fact that it's like a cool thing. He knows that if you have a year-long giant American fair, it's going to bring people from all over the world to it. Now, we used to call it the World's Fair. It used to take place all over the world.
That's right. Yeah.
It was a place. That's what he's doing. He's recreating the World's Fair. But what's interesting is he knows that's going to drive people to come and tourists to come to that. They're going to want to see it. It's going to be a one-time, lifetime event. Everybody's going to come. It's going to make a ton of money. And he
I gotta say, I look at pictures of like the World Fair where they did all the science expos and all that. I see those pictures that happened before I was born, and I feel left out. I was like, man, I wish I could have been there.
Well, because there was a vision of the future, you know, and we got to see things they got to see things that were coming that people didn't have access to. So it'll be cool.
So this is actually pretty cool. You know what? You know what I like about this? Instead of spending or sending hundreds of billions of dollars to other countries to fight proxy wars, he's like, let's stop doing that and have a year-long party.
Nothing wrong with that, right? Yeah.
I'm up for it. Yeah, let's go. Might be pretty rad, dude. And I was making a joke and criticizing me before, but now I'm sort of into it. Now I'm like, I can't wait to go to the Great American Fair. That sounds awesome.
We should do our show from the Great American Fair.
100%. You know what? If the Great American Fair happens, I will tell you this, and I'm not speaking for Shane, but if I'm still alive and I can still talk, that I will stream at least one day from the Great American Fair.
All right.
And I hope Shane will be in the position to join me.
I hope so too.
We're like
Make it
behind.
sound like I'm going to be dead by then or something.
I don't know. We're like behind like the fried Twinkie stand.
You're like
in between the porter party and the fried Twinkie stand. All right. Hey, listen, guys, that's it for. Unless you have something else you want to talk about, Shane.
No. I know we're going to go to the member section. I do want to say, come back and join us. Like I said, this was a celebration. Trump won. This was going to be a stream basically celebrating that. We will be back each week with a variety of stories. It won't all be, Trump, but today we had to celebrate this victory, and we appreciate you guys coming. We appreciate all the super chats. Appreciate those who show up who don't super chat but still communicate. And if you've liked and subscribed to us, then we just appreciate you so much. So thank you.
Yeah. Also, John Burns, he super chatted. He always likes to squeak a super chat in at the very end, and then scold us in the member section for missing it. I didn't miss it this time, John.
Woo!
He said Michigan 60% of Latinos voted for Trump. Hell to the yes.
Yeah,
my Latino brethren.
They know.
Also, Adam Leader said, "What about the other 355 days? Where's your dedication?" And Bear With Me said, "Fried butter on a vase."
He's talking about this here.
Yeah.
This is a smoothie that I have to drink because I'm overweight.
Yeah. And then John Burns, another super chat. Thank you, sir. You guys should go to the Great American Event. Yes.
We are. You should come too, John.
Christy's Corner says, your trailer was awesome one. Actually, I didn't make that trailer. I tried to make it obvious. A friend of mine did. And he got retweeted by Elon Musk, and he has millions. And earlier today, he's like, "Hey man, thanks for sharing the trailer. I'm getting so many views." I'm like, "Listen, I appreciate you saying that. I had nothing to do with that."
You can thank Elon.
Like the couple thousand views I got you has nothing to do with your success, but I appreciate you thinking it did.
It is a very cool video, though.
It's a very cool video, and I'm going to collaborate with him coming up on one of our intros. He says he's going to work with us to create intros. If you guys saw the intro today, a lot of patriotic stuff in there. I hope you guys liked it.
Yeah, that was cool. Very new. You guys check it out again at the beginning.
Yes, I agree. I didn't miss any more super chats. All right. Okay. Chappie's asking if we're going to keep covering pop culture. Of course.
Yes.
Really? Here it is, guys. We're going to cover anything that is happening right now.
Yeah.
If it's happening right now, we're definitely not going to be reviewing old movies, that kind of stuff. I got to say though, we get another, when we get the next big blockbuster that comes on and it's shaking things up, like we're 100% talking about it. We're going to talk about anything that's happening right this minute. If it's in the zeitgeist, that's what we want to talk about. And right now, politics has been that thing, which is why we changed the name to BRANE Show, to make it very clear that our path forward is now going to be current events, pop culture, current events. And we're going to be on Saturdays at 12:30 after the Salty Nerd Show.
Yes.
And that's where we're at. And you know, we think it's better that way because we also, honestly, reviewing TV shows that we don't even like is such a bummer. Okay.
It is. Well, Star Trek's dead.
And Star Trek died. Star Trek died. Yeah.
That's where we came
Rest
from.
in
Guys.
peace, bro.
There's no Orville. And this is kind of what we enjoy doing, and we're so glad that you come to listen with us. And you know, longtime fans, we won't give up on you. So
you guys gotta see how much more how higher quality the show is when we actually care about what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And like when we're talking about Star Trek, like 90% of the time we've lost all interest.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Unfortunately. Okay, guys, we're going to the member section. If you are not a member, then consider becoming one. Hit the join button down below. If not, that's cool. We'll be back next Saturday. Don't forget to like this video. And if you see our clips coming out over the next 5 or 6 days, like those too. Hook a brother up. We're trying to promote this thing. We're so close to finally being at a positive on this channel. I mean, like we're literally like 5 away from being a positive number finally for the first time in almost a year.
Also, we have a new X account, X Twitter account. So if you guys can go and follow us over there, it's at BRANE Show, BRANESHOW.
At BRANE, BRANE. Okay, guys, we're going over there. We'll see you in the members section where the water is warm because Shane keeps peeing in the pool.
I can't help it.
Damn it, I forgot to change the logo. I just realized that.
Impossible. Just
next time.
do it. Do it. Just
yes, you can.
Do
yes,
it.
you can.
Yes, you can. Just do